All right, so welcome once again to class. I hope you all had a splendid weekend and you are having a splendid weekend and you had a splendid week as well. I know it must have been a hectic one for those of us that are working. I believe some of us here, if not most of us, are combining work with this. So um, I hope you are doing all right and everything is going very well. So today we are going to be continuing from where we stopped last week, right? I believe for everyone here who was in the last class, so you would not be confused on what exactly it is we'll be doing today. So, but before we go into what we have for today, there are quite some few things I need to talk about, right? Quite some few things I need to talk about. So, during the course of the week, I understand that this is the first week, and some of us might have difficulties like navigating some of these platforms and a whole lot of other things, right? That was actually the reason why. That was the reason why before we started the program, we made available resources for us to install the software that we are going to be using and to understand Google Classroom and how to navigate it. So I would actually say that it's not something I expected because I felt you could have used the 1 week period before class to kind of get yourself acquainted with what you're going to be working with. So some of us here, I am quite disappointed because till now some of us are yet to download the Anaconda software. Right? It's you should already have it installed even before we started. Right? Everything has been made available for us in the classroom. Everybody was added. At least most of us were added to the Google Classroom before we started class last week. So you should have already gone through all those things and set yourself up and get yourself prepared for class. So coming to start having all these challenges while we are in the program or when we've started is going to just make things quite difficult, both for yourself and for me as well, because I would have to at least attempt to you, and you would also be lagging behind in terms of doing your assignment and all of that. So I just want to say that I'm not really happy with that. And I'm also not happy with the fact that some of us don't read instructions at all. Like it will be clearly written and clearly stated in a message I sent, but still yet you ignore the message and still come to ask the same question in the group chat or come to my DM and ask the same question. Like I believe we all know how to go through information. Yeah. So please, this is the essence of information. If I'm to go through or attend to every one of us here, I won't. It won't be possible. Like it will even be possible. You understand? That is the essence of sending in an information to the group chat. That is the essence of having a group and sending information to that particular group, so everybody can go through the information and take necessary actions or do what is necessary. So if your problem is that you didn't understand that particular information, then that is a different thing entirely. You can come to me and seek for clarification. But the fact that the information is there already, but you still you just jumped over it and came and started like asking the same questions that have been addressed in the message that were sent. It's not fine at all. It isn't fine. And another thing is, I said this in the last class that please and please don't just come to my DM to ask questions. We have the question and answer group in the Telegram group chat. We have this question and answer subgroup in the Telegram group chat, which is for question and answer. And if you notice, I answer most of the questions there. I know that that is where most of us will be asking questions. So I take time, go through the questions there, and answer them as best as I can. But I still see some people coming to my DM. If I didn't tell you to come to my DM, right? Or if it is not a personal issue, as I said, the only reason, only thing that can make you come to meet me in my DM is if it's a personal issue that you want to tell me about. Then that's fine. But if it's a general question that you want to ask, please just limit it. Ask it on the general group chat. So these are the things that makes the program go smoothly, and everyone is going to align and move along. You understand? So I have quite a lot I'm doing. Going to my DM and seeing a lot of messages. I don't know. It's actually um not going to make me very effective, right? So that is why we have the group chat and we have the structures that have been put in place to answer all these things and make sure that everybody is carried along, right? So that is it for that. Like I'm just giving us this allowance because this is the first week, and we are still making adjustments. So from this second week, it might not be tolerated as it was this previous week, right? So please and please, let's try to make adjustments. Let's try to align ourselves with everything we need to align ourselves with, right? Make sure you go through information that are passed on the group chat. Pay attention to the announcement group chat. Pay attention to the Google Classroom. If you have any question, come to the Q&A section of the group. Ask your question there and tag me. If I don't answer, then that is you know that yes, I've not answered the question and I'm at fault, right? So, but just make sure that you do the things that you need to do. You understand? So when you are coming to complain, I know that yeah, I was actually the one that didn't respond to your question. You understand? So this is just some things I observed during the course of the week and just wanted to address them. So I also have some other things right to say. We're going to do the assignment correction today before we start class. So basically, that is how we do it here. After every week, we go through the assignment we did, do the correction, so you see exactly where you add or where you didn't get. Someone was asking in the group, I think earlier, about the assignment, and don't worry, we're going to do all that here. And yeah, I also address some issues regarding the assignment. Right, a lot of us, right, I just believe it's still part of this initial phase. We are still trying to adapt and understand how to navigate these platforms, right? So, but the resources were already made available initially, right? The videos to help us with Google Classroom was uploaded about two weeks ago. So, if you had seen that video, I believe you should not have so much problem using Google Classroom. And as regarding the assignment too, before we go into that, um, I'm just going to highlight some of the things that I noticed, right? So um, I sent a message to the group chat regarding the assignment submission. The assignment should be submitted in IPYNB format. That is your Jupyter notebook format. And I told you how to download, how to do it. I sent screenshots and all. Still yet, some of us were submitting other kind of files. We were submitting HTML files, PDF files, and what have you. So I don't understand how we ended up doing that. But please just take correction. And yeah, that's for that. And also some of us we submitted our assignment without answering the questions. So I don't know if you it was a mistake on your end or you didn't even know when you submitted. But basically some persons submitted the assignment without even doing it or attempting it. So if you are part of this category, please just take notes and adjust yourself next time. Right. So okay. Yeah, so but the other things we're going to talk about them while we are answering or going through the assignment. So that is just it for the assignment. So please all these things I'm saying, please try as much as you can to take note of them. Right. I keep repeating myself on some of these things. I've said some of them in the previous class. I'm repeating them now. So please let's take notes. Let's take notes. So now okay, a quick one. We are going to be electing our class rep this week. So after the classes, this week classes, we are going to be nominating some certain persons. So the nomination is just going to be open, right? Anybody can nominate anyone. You can nominate yourself, but a list to be sent, right? And then we're going to have a list of nominees. So if you feel you are in the best position to take on that responsibility, then I would advise you to nominate yourself, or if you know someone that is capable, I also advise you to nominate that person. Trust me, being the class rep, it comes with a lot of responsibilities, yeah, but trust me, it also will benefit you a lot. It will benefit you a lot. So, if you are capable of handling that position, just ensure that you are part of the nominees. So we're going to be having a class rep and we're also going to be having an assistant, right? So it's going to be voting and we're going to be, we are basically going to be voting. So just stay tuned for that. It's going to happen during the course of the week. So the responsibilities of the class rep would be I'm going to post that in the announcement group chat. Everything, the modalities and all is going to be made. We are going to see it during the course of the week. So that is another announcement. So just take note of that too. Right. So
Emmanuel, can I say something?
the recording too was also made available. The
Please let me make
recording was hello.
an announcement, please.
All right. All right.
Please listen up, everybody. I'm going to drop a link by 4 o'clock. It's for your attendance. I'm going to drop a link by 4. Also drop it by at the end of the class. So 2 times. But so that you won't say you missed it because your battery runs off before the class was over. So I'm dropping it by 4 o'clock, and then I also drop it at the end of the class by 5. Okay, by 6 rather. So you are expected to fill your name and your email address. That is that for your attendance for today. All right, please don't forget. Make sure you fill your name. That is what we are using for your attendance henceforth. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Davis. So the link will be dropped in the. If you notice, we created a new subgroup typed tagged attendance. So just go there when it's time and follow the link. So you ensure that everybody's name is captured and there is actually um, no mistake in the attendance, right? So I don't know. We nobody should write their names, please. Nobody should write their names on the group chat. We are not asking for your name. We are asking you to just follow a link that will be made available to us, right? And then fill your name when necessary and your email address. All right. So please, thank you very much as you comply with that. All right. So I'm going to be sharing my screen now. Going to be sharing my screen for the assignment. So, but once we are done with the assignment, before we start the class, I'm just going to give us 10 minutes to ask questions. This question is not question related to what we did last week or what we are doing today. The questions for today's class will be after the class. So the essence of that 10 minute question session is just for you to ask questions related to what you are facing, your challenge, or anything it is that you might want me to give an answer to as pertaining this program. You understand? So we are going to give us room for that, because I understand that some of us, we actually have some things that are posing as a roadblock. You understand? So you can just, and you might need clarity on how to go about it. So I'm just going to give us the opportunity to ask our questions before we go into it, what we are going to be doing today. So yeah, that's it for the announcements. Please just ensure you take note of everything that has been said. All right. So please, if you are following, let me know in the live session. If you're following and you got everything I said, let me know in the live session. All right, great. So please, let's stop sending in this list, this attendance list that we've been sending in. Please, let's just stop it. We are using a different format for attendance now. This is exactly what I'm saying. Some of us don't even listen to anything that is being said. We just want to do what we want to do. Like these are the things that cause chaos in the group chat, right? So let's pay attention to things that are being said. So you ensure that you are following what you are supposed to be following, because this thing now is it doesn't mean anything again, right? You putting your name there is not going to add anything. It's not going to remove anything. So please, let's just stop. Let's just stop this. And for those of us that usually post external resources or external links that is not related to data science, this week, as I've said, is just the first week, right? So a lot of things will be allowed, but moving forward, if you default on some of these things, there will be a penalty for that. You understand? So this is just to maintain, ensure that we maintain we are organized, and the information that you need to see is seen, and there is no chaos, and there is no we are all aligned with what we need to be aligned with. So I don't want to see us dropping our names on the group chat. I don't want to see us sending any lists of any sort as people have been sending, right? Use the appropriate group for the appropriate thing. If you want to ask questions in the Q&A group, and tag me or the assistant tutor, that is Mr. David. When you elect a course rep, you can now tag your course reps too with on those questions that you are asking. Understand? So when you just want to just say random stuff, you can say it on the random stuff as pertaining the program. Or I don't mean random. If you want to have other chat, you can do it elsewhere. But random stuff as pertaining the program, you can say it on the general group chat. You can have discussions with your colleagues on the general group chat. If you the material and resources group chat is for materials alone, right? That pertains to this program also. The announcement group chat is for announcement alone, and nobody should post any message there. I've said this countless times. Nobody should initiate any convo, any conversation, or post any message on the announcement group chat. Why this live class? This live class is for interactions during the live class. So this live class is expected to be active whenever we are having a class. You understand? So if you come to this live class during the weekdays and you're asking question, I don't know, you might as well just answer the question yourself, right? So ensure that you follow or do the appropriate things so that things will be easy for everyone. All right. So the Google Classroom has the resources that you need. So the material and resources chart is just for redundancy. You understand? It's just like an excess. It is not necessarily the place where you get your materials. Your materials and everything is on the Google Classroom. That is where you get them. So I believe everyone should have the Google Classroom either on their laptop, right? So you can just go there and just check out the material that you need to check out. download whatever you need to download, and watch any class recording you need to watch. Everything is there for you, right? You understand? So so let's just please take note of all this. So I'm going to be sharing my screen now, and then we proceed. All right. So hope everyone can see my screen. Everyone can see my screen. All right. Okay. So we are going to be doing the corrections to the assignment I gave us last week. Okay. Let's see. So we're going to quickly just do this the second assignment, and then we'll look at the first assignment quickly. So now the first assignment I gave us 10 questions, right? Give us 10 questions and an instruction. So you can see at the top here we have instruction, and instruction is basically asking us to answer each question on a separate cell. I already explained what a cell is, right? It's on a separate cell, either in a markdown or code cell, depending on the question. So these are some of the things we didn't get, right? Some of us were mixing it up while answering the questions. For instance, this first question, question one, it says, why is consistent indentation important in Python? And what error does Python throw if the indentation is inconsistent? So we talked about this in the last class, right? Indentation and all of that. So this is just a very simple question. Like you just whatever. There is no particular answer that is correct. If you can get the idea behind it, then you're fine. So this is one of your assignments, right? One of your colleague that did this, and I liked it. So this explains what consistent indentation is. He talked about readability, structure, execution, error, and the error thrown when the indentation is inconsistent is indentation error. As you can see here, indentation error. So we talked about this in the last class. So this is just a straightforward answer, right? So now you are expected to answer this question. This person answered this question in a markdown cell. For some of us, this is what we did. We just changed the cell to a code cell, and then we answer the question. No, that you shouldn't do it that way. That is not the right way to do it. The right way to do it is to convert the cell to a markdown cell and answer it. So whenever you're answering a question that requires you to type things, just explain stuff without code, right? You can just use your markdown cell to do that, and you can edit it. You can make some things bold, can make these headings and everything. So the person reading it will understand and appreciate what you've written. Please take notes. Question two, what are the mutable and immutable data types in Python? We also did this last week, right? Talked about what mutable data types are. Can you all hear me? Someone says she can't hear me. Can everyone hear me? Okay. Okay. All right. So let's just proceed. So now we talked about mutable data types and immutable data types. So you already know what mutable data types are. They are data types that can be changed. The values can be changed after they have been created. So an example, we have here a list and a dictionary. So same thing for immutable data types. The values can't be changed. So you see, you answer it in a markdown cell. Understand? So question 3, the same thing. How do you convert a floating point number to an integer? And what happens to the fractional part after conversion? So we talked about this too. We talked about type conversion and how to convert from one data type to another. So you basically use int function to convert from float to integer, and the in the decimal part is truncated. It is not rounded up to the whole number. It is removed and the whole number is retained. So this is just it. Question 4. What's the difference between a list and a tuple? So lists are two, and basically we talked about this, right? Talked about what lists are and how they are mutable, why tuples are immutable. The syntax: lists are initiated or initialized with a square bracket, why tuples are initialized with a normal bracket, that is your normal parenthesis. So you can see the key differences here: mutability, syntax, usage, right? So this is just are the categories. I just love how this person arranged everything. You understand? So we looked at question 5. So question 5 now introduce the coding aspect of the question. So in this question, I asked us to print out the data type for the following variables. So this is just requires you to use a function that I taught us in last class. I showed us the type function. The type function is used to tell you the type of your data or your variable. So once you've initialized all these variables, right? What you just have to do is just to use the type and put in the variable there. So once you do that, you just use print to print them out. So you can see the first one is an integer, second one is a list, third one is a string, fourth one tuple, and we have dictionary, right? So as straightforward as that. So if you some of us, we just came here and just printed we just printed the variable. Hello. I want to be sure this is not from my end. Can everyone hear me clearly? Can everyone hear me clearly? Okay. Oluchi, please try to reset your network. Probably it's from your end. So just reset your network, turn your data on and off, and hopefully it's going to be better. All right, so let's just proceed. So now we have the type function, as I said. Some of us, we just came here and we just did something like this. Just the type. We came here and we just printed the variable back for me. Like that was not what I asked. I asked us to print the type. So you use the type function as you have it here. So that's just for that question. So the next question here: what is the difference between a comment and a docstring? So this is also straightforward. We already explained it in the last class. You understand comments are used to explain the code, while docstring are actually used to explain. They are used in functions, modules, or classes to kind of tell you or describe what their particular object or function is doing. So I demonstrated it in the last class and you all saw that. So it should be a very easy question for us. So now docstring are the same thing, you understand? And I also show us how to access the docstring variable, right? Access the docstring, sorry, to access the documentation of a particular function using the doc variable, that is the double underscore. So what you should have here is your double underscore, right? So What you should have here is a double underscore. Anyways, that just starts. So question 7, right? I asked us to do the conversion from one data type to another. So this one here is an integer, and I asked us to convert to a string. This string converts to a list, float to an integer, and what integer to float. So what you just need to do is just to use the different functions to do the conversion. And you can see in the question, I asked us to print out their new data types. So for some of us that just converted it without printing, um, you're not going to get a full mark for that because you are supposed to print them out so we can see the new variable, the new data types of the new variables, of the variables that you've converted, right? So that is it for that. So question 8, I asked us to create a dictionary containing the following information: your name, age, sex, profession. So you can basically use any data here, but for the name data, I expected you to use your name there, right? So there's a reason I did that. So I should see your name here. So thankfully, most of us did it, right? So you can see in this case, name, John Doe, age, and the rest. So it's just a very straightforward. So this, if you were in the last class, this assignment would just be straightforward, right? It is just a form of practice, just to help you practice what we did in the last class, right? Because we are moving forward. In this class now, we're going to introduce new concepts also. If you've not solidified or understood completely what we learned in the last class, it will be difficult for you to move as we are moving because you still have some things, you still have some backlog, right? So that is the essence for the assignment. So you need to ensure that you do your assignment diligently and understand everything in the assignment, so you will not have any issue at all. So yeah, so this is basically this number 10, which is indexing, right? So we did indexing here. So then we looked at um the last question, which is creating a list, tuple, and set containing 10 elements each, having a mix of integer, floats. So all these things are just straightforward. There is really nothing complex there. So now some of us made some mistakes, right? I'm just going to mention the ones I can remember. Some of us, we didn't include the questions here, right? We didn't include the questions. You just went straight to answer, putting the answer, which doesn't make sense because how would I now know which question you are answering? You understand? So you need to include the question. That automatically would make you lose mark, right? So if you didn't include the question, just know that. Some of us we didn't run our code. For those questions that had code, you are supposed to run it, right? You're supposed to run it so it will give you an output. So because I need to see the output of your code to know if what you did was correct. So if you just did it and you didn't run it, it's also you are not going to get your full mark too, right? So these are the things you need to pay attention to. So doing your assignment is not just going to help you understand what we've done, but it's also going to help you have a good practice of writing code. So as we are moving along, we are going to be introducing some things that you should be doing when doing your assignment. So that is just what you need to understand. This will help you practice how to write Markdown. As you can see, this person has a very clean assignment, very clean assignment. So these are the things that I'm going to be paying attention to. So when doing your final project, a portion of the mark will be given to how organized your project is and how well written and arranged it is. So please, as much as you're paying attention to the answers, also pay attention to how you are presenting these answers. So that is it for the assignment. Yeah, so basically if you have any complaints with the grading, just reach out to me. We are very transparent here. We can go through it and see what the problem was. I'm not talking of I'm not talking of correction at this point. This is a general correction. So I don't want you to come to my DM asking for correction again. What I mean is that if you feel like you deserve more score than you got, then you can come and come to my DM, and I'm going to go through your assignment to be sure that everything was well done, right? The grading was given accurately. So that's just that. So you can see later for that. So that is for the assignments. So for those of us that probably had an issue with the assignment, we didn't understand how to do some of these things. We have the recording of the last class available on YouTube, right? So the recording is available for us on YouTube. So you can always go over the concept that we learned in the previous class, right? Brush yourself, practice and everything, and then you can now come back to do the assignment. So you have from Sunday, because the assignment will be given on Sunday. So basically you have from Monday till Thursday to do your assignment, right? So you have Monday. If you are working 9 to 5, you can just look out or take out few hours, or let's say 1 hour in a day. If you cannot do everything in a single day, you can take 1 hour from Monday or 30 minutes per day. So you can take 30 minutes, do maybe question 1 and 2 or 3 questions. The second day, you do 3 questions. So just divide it like that. You don't have to wait the last day before doing the assignment, and then you realize that, oh, it's already 12 o'clock and I can't turn in my assignment again. The grace for that is just going to be for this week. Starting from next week, I'm not going to be allowing such excuse, right? Because you had enough time for that, unless you have a very valid reason, which I understand. So then we can look at it and give you the grace. But generally, this week is not going to be as last week, right? So yeah, that's it for the assignment. Now we are going to be taking just a few minutes. I'm just going to take 3 persons, right? 3 or 4 persons to just to ask questions, right? As pertaining, okay, so we already have 4 persons raising their hand. Olajumoke, Uchechukwu, DN equal. Wow, so a lot of people are raising up their hand already. So if you don't want to, if you were raising your hand before, just keep them raising, because I think I picked some persons here. So I have Olajumoke already there. I have Adebayo. I have Uchechukwu. I have DN Ekpo. And we have Adams Sheu. So these are the 4 persons that I would be calling because of time. Or let's say 5. Let's just include 1 more person. Yeah, so James here. James would also be among. So at the end of the class, the others can ask the question. So you just don't want to spend so much time on that. Right. So Precious, Olajumoke Precious, please, you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir. So I just want to ask why you were explaining things that we were supposed to do when answering the questions. You made mention that when answering the questions, we are to include the questions we are answering. So I don't get that. So I would like you to clarify, sir. Thank you.
Okay. What I mean there is that some persons submitted their assignment without any question, right? So your assignment should already have the questions in it, and then you just go straight to giving your answer. So I already give you the questions, right, in the file. So what you just have to do is just to create a new cell and answer and give your answer, right? I don't want you creating a new file and just giving only answers and no questions. So it's actually not a big issue. I just wanted to highlight that because I think I saw it in 1 or 2 assignments that were submitted. So as you have your assignment given, you don't have to do anything. Just give answers to each of the questions and then submit. So don't delete the questions or don't create a new file and just give answers without questions. So I think that is just it for that. So I believe that has answered your question.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right. So yeah, Adebayo real one. Adebayo real one. Please can mute yourself and ask
Yeah,
your question.
good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, I'm just joining the class today, and I understand that we started last week. So I want to know the assignment. Is it what we are grading upon, or we still have a capstone project, or both of them?
Okay. We, each of these categories have a weight. Like you are going to be graded over 100% at the end of the program. I explained this in the last class, so you should go back to get the recording because we record each of our classes. So you can. Are you on the Google Classroom?
Yes, I'm in the group.
The Google
I'm on the
Classroom, not
group.
Telegram.
Yeah,
Not Telegram,
yeah.
Google Classroom. What class are you in?
Google Classroom. No, I'm not in the Google Classroom.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. You
No, I'm not.
everything, all the materials that you need are made available there. So what you do now is just send me a DM after this class with your email address so I can add you to the Google Classroom and then you can go over all the materials and everything that we've done so far. Right. So but the thing is that you just have to start with week two assignments. So you've already the week one assignment is passed already. So just make sure that you get yourself updated before the next class, which is next week Saturday. All right.
Thank you.
So as your question initially, the project is going to have a mark. The project is 50%. Your assignment overall is 30%, and your attendance is 20%. So everything carries its own weight, right? It contributes its own weight to the general score you'll be having at the end of the program.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so let's see. All right, James Isuk. I think some persons dropped their hand. All right, James, you can go ahead and ask your question. Unmute yourself, please, and ask your question.
Good afternoon, sir, and good afternoon, everyone in the class.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Sir, I believe that I'm not the only one that is having this issue, but the materials you drop at the Google Classroom and assignment for the material for week one, the first assignment and the second, I can't open them. When I open them, the error message is no preview, and then if I download them in my system, it is empty. Then I took them to Jupyter Notebook. It's still empty. Nothing is showing. Then I was only able to open the assignment one because it is Google document. I open it. Then I try to work on it by copying the questions to Jupyter and then ask again, and it was just the whole typing of the whole thing. Then after that, okay, I said, okay, let me save. I save it. It shows in my folder here in desktop. It's still empty. So I don't know what's the challenge there, but I contact one person. I forgot his or her name. The person said he's having the same issues too in his system. So I don't know if it is from my system, if there is any setting that I didn't do. I don't know.
Okay. So the thing is that this kind of issues, like I'm actually usually blind because it's a problem that is happening in isolation. It's just maybe one or two persons that is having it. So I can't really tell you what to do and what not to do. Understand? Unless I have access to your system, because generally everybody should be getting the file, right? When you open the file, download the file, you should be getting the assignment and all of that. So I don't know exactly how to go about that. But what I think you will do is you send me a message after this class with a screenshot of the error that you are getting. Understand? So send me a message personally with the screenshot of the mess of the error you are getting, and let's see if we can take it from there and just solve the issue. But have you tried uninstalling Google Classroom and installing it again? Like okay, let me see. Have you tried uninstalling Google Classroom and let me unmute you so you can answer that question quickly. So have you tried uninstalling and installing?
No, I wait.
Okay, I think you should do that. Uninstall the Google Classroom on your laptop and really reinstall it again, and let's see if the problem persists. So after this class, just do that. So yeah, so let's just take the next person. Who did I call again the other time? All right, so Diane, please unmute yourself and ask your question. Diane, please, can you help me with your name? So I pronounce. Hello, Diane. There's a noise in your background. I can't hear anything you're saying. All right. So I think he has an issue with his mic. All right. So yeah, Sarah, Agu Sarah, please unmute yourself and ask your question. Agu Sarah, please, you're on mute now. Just unmute yourself. Your hands were raised. Your hand was raised, so you can ask your question. You go over to the next person. Okay. Hassan, Abubakar Hassan, you can ask your question. Unmute yourself. Abubakar Hassan.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon.
So my question is almost related to the one that Advice Rilwan asked. We did not attend last week class, and we even don't find ourselves in Google Classroom. So how do you do to get the assignment?
All right, so I believe you've gotten the answers already. The answer already. So just send me a message too with
Okay, sir.
this same question, and then I'll add you.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm just going to stay till 4. Okay. You can drop your hand, Azan. Please drop your hand so others that have not spoken or would speak. All right, Usman Abdullahi. Usman Abdullahi, please ask your question. Unmute yourself, please, and ask your question. Please be fast about it.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, good
Yeah.
afternoon.
What I wanted to ask you last week about I don't know whether someone is also available like me. We that were having challenge of let me say ownership of computer and laptop. So how do we some of the assignment they are giving using only let me say Python or Anaconda. So such assignment that we cannot be able to do. How do you go about it? Is it that
Do you
between the
mean
mark
you don't have a laptop?
for now, the one I'm having a little issue with it. Like my hard drive spoiled, so I need to get new one to put inside before I can be able to get access to the laptop. So that is the
Yeah,
issue I'm having right now.
yeah. These issues, they are
So
actually these kind of issues. You already know that I can't do anything about it, right? So, the advice I will give you is just to try to, if it's possible, to get someone like just get access to a laptop basically to do the assignment. right? So the assignment, you can just get access to the laptop just for a few hours, so you can quickly do your assignment for that week. And the other things, like at least for the meantime, you can just be using your phone to follow up with the classes that we'll be having. So that is just what I can say about that. Right. So yeah. All right. We'll be taking two more persons. All right. Damilola, Timile, Tim. Okay. Damilola, please unmute yourself and ask your question. Damilola, please unmute yourself and ask your question. Your hands were up.
Okay, yes, please. Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yes. Okay, please. I can see myself in two classes. Data science, stats wizard, and data science detective. And then I turned in my assignment in the stats wizard. Then I got a mail that you turned in my assignment as missing in detectives. So please, I want to ask, am I to answer the assignments in both classes, or I should just answer in one class? Thank you.
Yeah, please just leave the detective class. You can actually leave. Since you're already active on the other one, just leave, exit the other class. I think you know how to do that, right? There's an option for that. Just go to your Google classroom and you see, just check the options there. You see an option to leave the class, and then you leave that particular class. All right.
Thank you.
Okay. So you don't keep getting double email. All right. We're going to be taking Quadri Ahmed Quadri. Please ask your question and be brief about it.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yeah, the issue I had was that after completing my assignment, because I was really busy a bit last week, so after completing my assignment, I noticed that the file I uploaded, I was just noticing it today. The file I uploaded was the assignment, not even the question I answered. Is there a way I can, maybe a grace, why I can re-upload it or what? Or it has gone?
Yeah, so as I said again, this week is just going to be for I was going to be a grace week basically, right? Because we are just getting started and some of us can make mistakes. So please just send me a message with your class and we'll sort that out.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Take one more person and then we'll continue from there. All right, Uchechukwu, please unmute yourself and ask your question. Uchechukwu.
Okay, thank you very much. Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yes, I was troubled when after doing the assignment, I didn't know whether I had to run those programs that we created during in responding to the assignment before sending it, or just, yeah. So that's my confusion. I don't. Or should we
Yeah, I
just?
think I explained that like during this assignment. Are you just joining?
Not really. But
Yeah, I said like once you have to run your code, like so the output is visible, because once you submit it without running it, I won't be able to see your output, and yeah, it's going to. Hello.
Yeah, I'm here.
So you have to run, as long as it involves writing code, you have to run it on your own end. Obviously, how would you know if what you've even written, the code you've written is correct without running it?
Yeah.
So you have to run the code and submit it as it is. You understand? Run it, ensure that the output are there, and then submit, save the file and submit. That is how
Okay.
it should be.
Okay.
Understand?
Please let this be a learning for us that have not been into this before. The next time, subsequently, because I know I ran mine and the thing, and then I just cleared it so that I will just send a normal code.
All right. All right. Okay, so that is it for that section. We are going to be going to the next. We're going to be going to what we have for today, right? So those of us that have questions, you can just ask them in the Q&A section after the class, right? So we'll sort those ones out later. So let's focus on what we have for today. All right. So let me share my screen. All right. So last week we talked about, we started with the basics of Python. We introduced Python to us, right? So we talked about we looked at the overview of Python, importance and application of Python, right? The syntax, and we also looked at indentation. We looked at variables and data types. We looked at type conversion, looked at print statements. We looked at comment and docstring. So these are the fundamentals. These are the building blocks of Python. Although we are not done yet, there's still some things that we would have to look at, right? So, but you should by now have an idea of how to do all these things that we just mentioned, right? So basically, we should constantly practice all these things. We should, aside the assignment that we're given, we should on our own try to just practice it, especially during this class. The ideal thing you should be doing is following me as I am going through some of these examples that I'll be giving, right? So you can be following me. If you have if you have a phone, you can watch, you can be taking the lectures or the class on your phone and just setting up your laptop on Jupyter Notebook and then following the code, just trying it, you understand? So these are the things that will make you very, very, very good and understand it very well. Though you can as well do it after the class because the recording will be there, so you can just look at the recording and at your own pace, understand, follow up with what we'll be doing. So we looked at all these things in the last class, and so we won't be doing any revision of any sort because the assignments did justice to that. So we are going to be continuing from where we stopped, right? So where did we stop last week? Please, can someone just tell us on the group chat, where did we stop in the last class? So we'll kick off from there. Where did we stop in the last class, please? Okay, all right. So we stopped at comment and docstring, right? So we looked at all those, everything that has to do with comment, and also looked at docstring, right? So now today we are going to be looking at how to perform arithmetic operations in Python. So I believe we know what arithmetic operations are. They are basic maths that we did in primary school. So we're going to look at how we can do it and replicate it using Python. So this is actually going to be more of our practical. So I'm just going to come and create a new file here, a new Python file. So now, as regards, okay, let me just quickly chip this in. As regards the assignment, this is how you save your assignment. Let's say you've done your assignment now. This is your assignment. You come to file here, come to save notebook. You can save notebook or you can save notebook as if you want to rename it. Understand? You don't come here and say and save an export. So some of us, I think some of us came here and did this and then selected HTML or PDF, right? I said this thing in the message I passed across. So you come here, save as, and then you can edit the name here to whatever it is you want to edit and change it to, and then you save it on your system, go to Google Classroom, upload the assignment, right? And then click on turn in. So then that is when I know that you submitted your assignment, right? So that is just how you do. I just wanted to say that. All right. So I'm going to create a new file from your notebook. So we're going to have that set. All right. So we'll be looking at arithmetic operations. All right. Let me quickly use the comment. Arithmetic operations in Python. All right. So we all know what arithmetic operations are. They are the basic operations that we do, right? So arithmetic operations are fundamental in Python and allow you to perform mathematical calculations on numbers. So Python supports a variety of arithmetic operations that can be applied to integers, floats, and even complex numbers. So that is why we talked about these data types first, because everything that follows it, right, have to do with us using those data types. So integers and float are the data types we use in performing arithmetic operations most of the time. So complex numbers, don't bother yourself about that. That is not in the scope of what we are doing, and you might not even use it throughout your Python career or data science career, but just know that it's part of what we use in arithmetic operations. So, but this is just the basics, the fundamental, the building blocks. So as we are moving, we'll build on this. So there are different arithmetic operations we can perform in Python. The first one is addition. My screen is static. Is my screen static? Oh, all right, let me quickly share. All right. Okay, can everyone see my screen now? All right, all right. So now let's move on. So we have several arithmetic operations, basic arithmetic operations in Python. We have addition, right? We all know what addition is. So you can add two operands, basically, like numbers. So you can perform it on float, you can perform it on integers. You can also perform addition on strings, right? We're going to look at that. So we have subtraction, right? So it subtracts of course you know what subtraction is, so I don't need to go into that. We have multiplication, but you can't perform subtraction on string, right? We have multiplication. You can multiply two numbers, and you can also use the multiplication on strings. So we have division, we have floor division, we have modulus, we have exponentiation, we have increment and decrement operations, and that is it, right? So now, but we are going to just look at this, but moving forward, hopefully in this class, we are still going to look at other kinds of operations we have. So in Python, we have different kinds of operations, but arithmetic operation is a subset of the kind of operation we can perform. So we're going to look at the different kinds of operation, hopefully tomorrow in tomorrow's class. So let's quickly look at them one after the other. So this is actually a very straightforward concept. in Python. Someone said my screen is still static. Is that true for everyone, or is it just the person? Because as from what I'm saying, it's actually fine. Please, let me get a quick response so we can proceed. So I need us to be following. That's the essence of this class. Okay. All right. So now addition. How do we do addition? So let me just go straight to the Python. So now we're going to look at addition. So you notice that I'm already using comments. So this is actually something you'll be using very much often. So while writing Python codes, you have to use comments to just explain what it is you are doing. So now we're going to look at addition. How do we perform addition in Python? Very, very straightforward. So what you just have to do is you have two numbers. You have 4. You want to add 3 to it. You use what we call the addition operator. So this is the addition operator plus, and then you put the other number. If you run that cell, it's going to give you an output 7. So Python automatically understands what it is you are doing by this is a very intuitive way of adding two numbers. You all know this, right? So this is not anything complex. So you can use this to add two numbers. That's for addition. But you can as well initialize two variables. So I can come here and say A is equals to 4 and B is equals to 5, right? I can now come and say A plus B, and I'm going to get what? If I can come and say, if I run it, I'm going to get what? 9, right? So you can see we can initialize a variable, and instead of just adding the numbers directly, we can add them to variables and then add the two variables, right? So these are some of the things that we can do using the addition operator, right? So let's look at how we can use it on float. So the same thing, we can change this to, let's say, 4.6. So you can see that we have what? 10.1. So we can work both for integers and for floats. So it gives you the answer in float, basically. So now let's look at how we can perform it using on string data type. So as we said the other time, that you can actually concatenate two strings. So let's say I have using addition on strings. So let's say I use the addition operator on string data type. What it does is that it just joins both of them together. Let's say I have hello, right, a string, and I want to add it to world. I come here and say world, right, and I put this exclamation mark. So what it's going to do basically is that it's going to join both of them together. You can see that it brings the hello and then brings this word and adds both of them together. So we now have hello word. You can see that it doesn't even have a space because it is joining it together directly. So if you want to include a space there, we can just come here and add space, put space here, and then add it. So we are now adding 3 things here. We're adding this hello, we're adding this space, and we are adding the other word. So if we run this is what we're going to get. We're going to get the hello word with a space. Someone is asking, yeah, you have to see link. There is no link. If you look up the screen of the Telegram, of the chat you're in right now, you will see a live session, an option to join a live session. So just click on it and you are in the class. Okay, the person can't even hear himself. So please, someone should just explain to him how he's going to join the live session, right? So we don't get distracted. So this is basically um, how you do this for string using the addition operation. What's happening exactly? All right. So yeah, that's basically how you do it for string. So we have the space here now. If you remove the space here, let's say we remove this, we're going to have just it together. So you just know exactly what you want to do and you know the particular string you can add to it. So that is just it for addition. Very straightforward. We will build on that as we are moving forward, but this is just how you perform the addition operation in Python. So let's just go to the next one. That is subtraction. So we'll look at subtraction. Subtraction. Right, so it's actually straightforward. So the same thing, you can just come and say 9 minus 4, right, to give you 5. As intuitive as we all know, you can initialize a variable, come and say A is equals to 9, B is equal to what? Let's say 5, and we come and say A minus B will come here and it will give us what? 4. So this is subtraction basically. So you can only perform the subtraction on your numerical data types. You can't do it on your string. So you can even use floats. Come here and say 9.7 minus 5.5. You get this. So you actually get a very lengthy number. So as we are moving on, I'll be introducing you to functions that you can use. So when we get to functions in Python, it is going to get more interesting because you can use functions to do a lot of manipulation. So this addition, subtraction that we're doing, you can actually just use functions to perform them, right? But that's how we are going to be building little by little, block by block, right? So this is for subtraction, right? Let's look at the next one we have. We have multiplication. So the same thing, right? You come here, 5. The operator for multiplication is your asterisk, right? Your asterisk, and then you say 6. Let's say you want to multiply the both of them. So you come here, run it. You're going to get what? You're going to get 30. You can come here, initialize two variables. Say A is equals to 5. B is equals to what? 4. You can come and say A times B is equals to what? 20. Right? So you can do them directly using the numbers, or you can just create a variable, initialize a variable, and multiply those two variables, right? So I hope we are all following. So that's it for that. We can actually perform this multiplication on strings. So let's say we have this particular string, right? And we multiply it with a number. Come here and say 3. If we run that, this is what we're going to get. Ha ha ha. Understand? So what Python does is that it takes in this string that we have here and replicates it 3 times. Right? 3 times. So you might not necessarily have a use case for it practically, but just know you can actually perform multiplications on strings as well. Right? So right, so just understand that. Let's move forward to the next one. So I think we have division here. We have division. We have division. Right. So come here and say let's say 10 division. The operator sign for division is this forward slash. So this thing might sound simple, but trust me, as we are moving forward now, you understand why I'm talking about these operators. So remember I told you the operator for multiplication is a single asterisk, right? Why the operator for division is all right, so The operator for division is your forward slash, right? So just take note. So if you say 10 divided by 2, it's going to give you 5, right? 5, it will always give you your answers in floats. You can come and say A is equals to 8, B is equal to what? 2. If I come and now say A divided by 2 by B to give us what? 4.0. Straightforward, very simple, no problem. Understand? So now the next one we have here, it's now going to sound, or we are now going to start looking at some more complicated operations. Not so complicated though, but it's not as basic as the one we just looked at. So we'll look at I think the next one here. Let me confirm which one is here. So we have floor division, right? So we have floor division. So floor division now is different from division, right? So what floor division does is that it divides the left operand. Basically, it divides your numerator by your denominator, rounding it up to the nearest whole number to get an integer result. So let's just look at what it means here. So if I come and say 8 divided by 2, or let's say by 3. Now you see the difference now. This floor division has 2 forward slash, right? While this normal division has 1 slash. Now the difference between this normal division and floor division is in the output. This output, so let me zoom out my screen, is in this output here. The output in normal division, let me just come here and put 1 slash. The output here, output is equal to a float. Understand? Why floor division here? Let me come here and put double slash. So the output here is equal to what? An integer. So if I run this, I'm going to get 2. 8 divided by 3 is what? Is 2, but remainder. It has a remainder, right? So what floor division does that? It removes that remainder and gives you just the integer. It doesn't round it up to the nearest whole number. It doesn't do the rounding up that we all know about, or the approximation that we know about. It just gives you the whole number, right? So let me come here and say 8 divided by 3 is 2.6. Right? This is normal division, 2.66666, right? But if I use the floor division, it's going to remove all these decimal points and give us just this whole number. That is basically what floor division does. So if I run this, I'm going to get 2. Let's do another example. I say 10 divided by, let's say 3, the same 3, I'm going to get 3. But if I use the normal division, I'm going to get 3.33333. So if I now change it to floor division, it removes all those decimal points and gives us just the integer, the whole number. So are we following? Is everybody following everything? And can you see my screen clearly? All right, thank you. So let's move on. So that is it for floor division. So the next thing here is modulus. Let me be sure. Let me come back here. So we have modulus here. All right. We have the modulus. So the modulus is represented by a percentage sign. So this is what modulus looks like, percentage, right? So we've looked at all the operations and their operators. So you need to know the different operator signs for each operations, all right? So the modulus here it has the percentage sign. And what does the modulus do? So the modulus returns the remainder of the division between the left and the right operand, right? So this is almost the opposite of floor division. Floor division just gives you the whole number, the integer, removing the decimal place, that is the remainder, while modulus gives you the remainder and forgets the whole number or the integer. So if I use this same example, 10 divided by 3, 10 divided um, um, by 3 using floor division, we're going to get what? 3. But if I come here and use modulus, I'm going to get 1. Why? Because once you divide 10 by 3, you are going to get 3. Remainder what? 1. So that 1 remainder is the output that you're going to get in remainder. So that's what modulus. It returns the remainder of your division of your division. So these three operations, division, floor division, and modulus, all of them has to do with division, basically. But the difference is in the way they is in their output, basically, in the output they give you. So there's sometimes you might need just the output of a particular division, or sometimes you might need just the whole number, so you know which particular operation to use. You understand? So just know this, like very, very important. So of course you can use a variable. You can come and say, let's say 15, and come and say 3, or let's say 4, right? I'll come and say A modulus B is what? 3, right? So that means 3 is the remainder. If I come and I say A divided by B is 3, right? And say normal division, you can see it's 3.75 in decimal. So if you convert it to fraction, you are going to, so these are just normal basic mathematical concepts, and these are the different ways you can implement them in Python. So yeah, so let's move on to the next one. So I think what we have here next is what we call exponentiation. Exponentiation. So this is basically the power that we know, raised to power this, raised to power that. That is what exponentiation is. And the sign for that is double asterisk. Remember I told you the sign for which one again has the single asterisk based on what we've said so far? I need response in the live chat. Which one has the single asterisk that we talked about? Exactly, right? So multiplication has single asterisk. Exponentiation has double asterisk. It's the same thing for division. Division has 1 forward slash. Floor division has 2 forward slashes. Understand? So these are the things that these are the basic Python concept that you need to understand, right? So what does exponentiation do, right? This is what you know already. So exponentiation raises the left operand. Forget what is operand, this English here. It's just basically telling you the number you are performing the operation with. It raises the left number to the power of the right number. So if I come here and say 4 expo to the power of 2 is what? If I run it, I'm going to get 16. So this particular operation here means 4 raised to power 2. So if you want to do this kind of operation, you just already know how to go about it. Very simple. So if I use 1 asterisk here, it's just going to multiply it. If I come here and use double asterisk, it's going to raise it to the power of this number here. So we're going to have 16. If I come and say 8 raised to power 2, 64. I come and say 16 raised to power 2, 256. So no matter the number, you call any number, you say it is going to raise it to that number. So Python is very good at calculation, very, very good at calculation, right? So these are the things, the basic operations that we are going to be doing in Python, right? So that's it for that. We have the next one here is the increment and decrement operations. So now this one is going to get a little bit tricky, but just follow me. That's why I need you to understand what we've done before. So we're going to look at the increment and decrement operations, right? So we first look at the increment operation. Increment operation. So this is the sign here, plus and equal to, right? So what does this increment operation mean? Basically, it is used to increase a particular number by a particular number. So that sounds somehow right. We're going to explain that. So now, Python does not have double plus or negative, double negative operators. So what we use here is just use these increment operators to increase or decrease a value. So let's say if I have um, a variable, let's say a is equals to 6, right? And I come here and say I want to increase this a by 2. So I want to add 2 to variable a. Let me spell this variable well. Variable a. All right, so what I'm going to do is just come here and say a equals to a plus 2. So this is how normally I would increase the value of a. So just pay attention here now. So what is happening here is that I'm creating a new variable now, which is a, and I'm assigning the output of a. A is what now? 6, right? We've already initialized it before. So what we have here, instead of what we have here is 6 plus 2. So the output here will be 8. So the total output will now be reassigned back to A. So if we come and now say A, what we're going to get is 8. Understand? We're going to get 8. So if we remove this, comment it out, and we run this, we're going to see we're getting 6. So this operation here now, this operation here that we did is called increment. We are increasing the value of A. But now they have what we call increment operator, which makes it easy and straightforward. Understand? So increment operation here is basically using increment operation. So instead of writing this long thing we have here, right, we can just come here and see a plus equal to 2. You can see how straightforward it is. So this is the using the normal method. So these are actually 2 methods of doing the same thing. So the first method, you just have to write it everything like this. But the second method is using this increment operator plus equal to. So what happens here is that it first adds this a variable that we have here to 2, and that output it will now reassign it back to a. So we're now going to be having 8. So the same output we have here is the same output we have here. You understand? So that is just it for increment operator. I hope everybody understands, and we are good to go. So the same idea also applies to the decrement operation. Understand? So instead of having the addition operator here, you have your subtraction here, right? So you have your subtraction, and it will do exactly the same thing. Exactly the same thing. So we can have this. We can even have the multiplication here. And have multiplication here. So this is basically a shortcut you can apply to any of these, most of these operations that we've talked about here previously. So that is actually it for that. So let's quickly look at. So that is it for increment and decrement operations, right? So very straightforward. If you want to increase a number by a particular number, you can either use this manual method or the traditional method, which is here, right? Or you can use the increment operation, which is this. So the increment operator is this thing here that you are seeing. This plus and equal to is the increment operator. So you can have addition, you can have minus. If you have minus and equals is basically you are decreasing it, so it's decrement operation. If you have multiplication, is increment operator still the same because you are increasing the number, right? So that's just basically how it works, right? So you can try it for a lot of operations, right? So if you come here, um, let's see, you see that we've used the division now, operation with the increment operation, and we are having 1.5. So this is just, you can apply it with most of these operations that we have here, the basic operations, right? You don't use it with floor division, modulus, and exponentiation, right? You use it with just addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, your basic arithmetic operations. You understand? So that is it for increment operation. I hope that we are clear with that. So that is actually where we're supposed to stop in the last class. So we've looked at the fundamentals, right? So let's quickly go over that again. So we've looked at the fundamentals of Python. So we've looked at the syntax, we've looked at variables and data types. We looked at how to convert between data types. We've looked at print statements. We've looked at comments and docstrings. We've looked at basic arithmetic operations. So now you can now start seeing that you are moving forward. You are now beginning to understand Python. So Python is actually very easy. Trust me, very, very easy. You are definitely going to enjoy it. Sorry, like I don't think I can slow down that much again. If you can't meet up, just I think you just have to wait for the recording because of time, actually, because of time. So I'm really sorry about that. I wish we would have more than enough time so everybody will follow along, but it's actually not very feasible. So we are going to be moving on to the next thing we have. So we will now look at the week 2 topics. We're going to be moving on with Python programming. We're now going to be looking at some advanced concepts. So we've looked at the basic concepts here, the basics. Now we're going to be looking at the advanced concepts, right? So we will not look at everything today. We'll look at some of them today and continue from there tomorrow, right? So first we have string formatting. We have types of operations in Python. We have conditional statements. We have loops, for and while loops. We have functions. So remember, we've been talking about functions all this while. So we're going to look at functions. And we have objects in Python. So these are the things we're going to be looking at in this particular in the class, in today's class, and in the class to follow. So it might actually spill over till even next week because some of these things actually take time to explain and understand. So, but today we're going to look at string formatting, and we might look at types of operations in Python. So let's just move on to that. So now, what is string formatting? We all know what string is. We've looked at the different data types and everything, right? But there's a concept called string formatting. So string formatting is a way to style your strings. That's just what it means, right? Styling your strings and creating dynamic strings in Python. So one thing about Python is that the things you are learning now, you might not understand why you are learning them now. Trust me. No matter how much I try to explain why it is necessary to understand it, just trust me and understand it. As we're moving forward, you're going to now start seeing the implementations and the places that we begin to use all these things we'll be learning. You understand? So that is very, very important to know, right? Very, very important to know. So just follow me as we are explaining this. So basically, as you can see, string formatting is essential for creating dynamic strings. So this is a very important word. Let me just bold that. Bold that. So String formatting is essential for creating dynamic strings that incorporate variables or expressions. So we're going to look at how we can do that. So sometimes you might want to give an output, right? But you want to make that output, you want to allow that output to tell you something that you understand, to show you something in a manner that would be easy for someone to understand what the output is all about, right? So we are going to implement this and you're going to understand better. But basically, this is what string formatting is used for, to creating dynamic strings that incorporate variables or expressions. And for string formatting, we have three different methods. We have the format method, we have f-string method using f-string, and we have the percent formatting method. So this percent formatting method is the oldest method out of these three, and you might not even use it like that because it's actually we have newer method and even better and more efficient way of doing it. So this percentage method, although it's not mostly used again, but you still have to know it as a Python programmer and as a data scientist in case you meet it in any code, right? So we have f-string. F-string is another method. Why format? So these three different methods, there are three different ways of doing the same thing. So don't get confused here. So we are still doing the same thing, but we are using three methods to achieve that thing, right? So I'm going to teach you how to use these three methods to format your string. So you can just, anyone you feel like you are more comfortable with to use, you can use that in formatting your string, right? But you just need to know how to use these three different methods. So let's quickly jump on the code and show us how we can use string formatting, right? So string formatting in Python. Hope we are still following. Please, I need feedback in the group. Hope everyone of us is still following. All right. Okay, perfect. So now we have the first method here, and the first method is the format method. So let's just come here and say using the format method. So now let's say we want to perform arithmetic operation on two strings. So we initialize our variable. We say A is what? 5. B is what? 6. C is what? C is the output, right? Is the addition of these two variables. So you can come here and say C is what? 5 plus 6. So we now have three variables that we've initialized here. We have A, we have B, and we have C. So now I want to use string formatting to tell us exactly the output of this code. Like I can just actually come here and just say print C. If I come and say print C, it just give us 11. This is actually very boring. Like if I just see 11 here, it's not interesting at all. But using string formatting, you can actually make it quite interesting to read. So I can come and say, I can come and type a string and say, the sum of this number here, right? A, that is the sum of A and B is what? C. So this is what I want to achieve. I want, when I print this, I'm going to get this. But instead of getting A and B, I want to get the values that are here. Like I want to get the values of these variables. I will have the sum of 5 and 6 is what? 11. So that is what string formatting is. It gives you that ability to format your string to be dynamic. You understand? So how do we use format method for this? So basically, once you have your the string you want to format, you can just now, in this position, you want to put what? A in this position, right? So you, instead of putting the variable here, you come here and put this curly bracket. So we are learning new syntax now, right? So I told you that as we are moving, we'll be learning new syntax every day. We're going to put curly brackets here. So this is going to serve as a placeholder for a variable, right? And what? B, you remove this B here and put curly bracket too. So these curly brackets are for your variables, the variables that you want to display, but you will not put the variable here. You just put the curly bracket as a placeholder. So what is C? So the same thing for C, you put curly brackets here, right? So I can now come here and use format. So after I've done this, this is a string I want to show us, right? So to format it, I'll now use, after I've written my string, I'll now say dot. I'll now type dot and type format, and then open my bracket and put my variables in the order I want it to appear here. So the first placeholder here should be for this first variable, which is A. So I'll put A here, followed by B, followed by what? C. That is it. This is how we use format method to create a dynamic string. So if I run this, you see that I'm getting an output that says the sum of what? 5 and 6 is what? 11. So if I come here and change this 5 to, let's say, 4, and change 6 to 13 and run it, you can see that it changes as this variable is changing. So it is dynamic. I've formatted my string, right? So you can see that the output now is even more interesting than just saying 11. So this is very, very, very useful. Like, you'll find it useful in a lot of things you'll be doing in Python. Trust me, you'll find it very, very useful. So just make sure that you understand string formatting. So this is one way to do it, using what? Format method. And let's look at the other method, the second method. So the second method here is what? F strings. We'll come here and say string formatting using F strings. So F strings, to me, not just to me, generally, is the simplest way of formatting your string, and is what you might most likely be using all the time, right? But it's good that you know how to use it. 3 different methods. So basically okay, let me just quickly show you something. Now, I told you that it's important to put these variables in the order that you want it to be. So let's just say you just made a mistake and you put B here and you put A here. You're going to get a different combination. You're going to get, or let's say I put C at the front. You see that the output I'm getting now is the sum of 11 and 13 is 4. It doesn't make sense. You understand? So that's why the order here is very, very important. Very, very important. Understand? So, no, you don't understand. Like this, you are not performing any operation here. You are just formatting your string, but you have to ensure that the order in which you put the variable in the statement aligns and makes sense with the output here, or the operation you are performing. So this string formatting doesn't carry out the operation for you, right? So I just hope you understand what I'm trying to say. I'm just trying to emphasize the order of the variables in this place. Even if you come here and just put 2 variables, you're going to get an error, right? You're going to get an error because you have 3 placeholders here, 3 placeholders, and Python is expecting you to put 3 variables here, and you went to put just 2 variables. It's going to give you an error. It's going to give you an index error which says replacement index 2 out of range for positional blah blah blah. You understand? So you ensure that the number of variables you are putting in this format function is equal to the number of placeholders you have here. You understand? So you come here and say C, and then you have it. Very simple. That is it for that. Now let's look at how we can use F strings to format our string. So let's still use the same operation here. You can come and say A plus B Let me just change it to, let's say, 15 minus 15 and 6. And then I'll come and say, oh, what I should have here self is a plus b self, not this thing. Understand? So exactly. I think I got that person's question. Thank you very much for for that. So because I changed it here, but I didn't change. I didn't. That's why it's good to use variables. You understand? So because as the value is changing, the variables are changing as well. But if I came here and just use 5 plus 4, I think, and this place it was 5 plus 4 too. Let's say 5 plus 4, and I come here now say I change this 5 to 6. Right, this one that is here will not change, right? So that's why it's good to use variables. So anything that you are doing here would reflect in this place. So yeah, thank you for pointing that out. That you actually are very attentive. So now in this second portion, you have these two variables. So you come and say a minus b. Understand? So to present the output in a very good way, the same way we did here, you can just use f string method for string formatting. How do we do that? So you come and say print, and then in f string, what comes first is usually f. So you type f, and then you now type your string. So I'll now put my quote, which obviously is a start of a string, and I'll say okay, let's use multiplication here. Okay, we'll say okay, the sum of a and b is c. So this is what we want to achieve, right? This is what we want to print out, right? But we want the output to give us the value of a, b, and c. So in f string, we use the same curly braces, right? We use the same curly braces for the three variables that we are going to be using. But the difference here is that we actually put the values inside the braces. We actually put the values inside the braces, unlike this format method. We have okay, sorry, the product of. So unlike this method, we didn't have anything inside these braces, right? Inside these curly braces. But in f string, we would have the variables inside the braces. So that is basically the syntax for f string method. So if we run this, we're going to get this. The product of 15 and 6 is what? 19. So in case we came here and we changed 15 6 to 76, or let's say 7, right? It would be that it is a dynamic stuff, like it changes as the variable changes. So this is just how you can use f strings to format your string. So we've looked at the two methods. We've looked at string formatting using format method, right? We've also looked at string formatting using f strings method. So the last one we're going to be looking at is using the percentage method, string formatting using the percent method. So this method is quite tricky, right? It's actually quite tricky. Unlike the other method, it's very straightforward, right? So, but we're going to just look at that. So if I come here and I use the same operation, okay, let me still use some. I come here and say print. Now, the syntax for the percent method is almost similar to the syntax for format method, right? So for percent method, I will just come and say the sum of A and B is C. This is what we want to achieve, right? So now in this place, instead of putting curly braces in the percent method, we put percentage sign, right? We put percentage sign there. So we'll come here, put percentage sign, come here, put percentage sign. So that is basically how the placeholder is. Hello, can everyone hear me? Hello. Okay, all right. All right. So where did you stop hearing me so I can pick on from there? Where did we stop hearing so pick up from there? All right. So for this particular, okay, exactly. So okay, let me just start afresh for this. So using the percent sign, how we do that is we come here, we write the full sentence we want to have as output. We come and say the sum of A and B is what? C, right? So this is what we want basically. So we use the percentage, the way we use percentage is by changing these variables, putting percent sign as placeholders, as placeholders, right? So remember in the format method, what we used as placeholders was these particular curly brackets here. Right? We use curly brackets as placeholders. In this f string, we still use curly bracket as placeholders, but we put the variables inside the curly braces. Can everyone still hear me? Okay, all right. So yeah, this is the syntax you use. You put the percentage sign here, and then you come here, and then instead of using format as we did before, remember in the format method we do this thing and put format, and we then put the variables that we want in the sentence. We change this format to percentage. You come here, change it to percentage, and we have this. But now there's another step, an extra step. In these placeholders we have here, you should indicate the data type of the variables. If you run this like this, if you just run this like this, you're going to get an error, right? You'll get an error because the formatting is incomplete. So it requires you to indicate the data type. So the data type of A here is what? An integer. And what we use as an integer in this particular formatting is D. So this particular letter is what you use whenever the variable is a data type of integer. You put D here and put what? D here. So if it is a string, you use your S, right? If it's a string, you use S. If it is float, you use F. But for integer, you use D. If you run that, you're going to get the same thing as you always get in the previous ones, right? You get your dynamic string. The sum of 15 and 7 is 22. All right, so that is actually very straightforward. So let's just look at other examples. So if I come here and say name, let's say Kingsley, age, let's say 34, and I come and say country, let's say country is Nigeria. So let's just use these three variables. Let's use string formatting for this variable. So to use I'm going to use the three different methods to format the string, and this output I want to get is I want to print this. My name is Kingsley. I hail from Nigeria, and okay, my name is Kingsley. I am 34 years old, and I am from Nigeria, right? So this is basically what we want to print out here. Okay, let me remove this. This is basically what we want to print out. My name is Kingsley. I am 34 years old, and I am from Nigeria, right? So, but we want to use string formatting to make it dynamic. You understand? So let's create a new cell for that. Because if I come in and I change this Kingsley name to, let's say, Ebuka, right? The Kingsley will still be there. It will not change. You understand? So let's just use the three different methods to format this string. So how do we do that? First one is using the format method. Using the format method, we're going to have print. We're going to have my name is curly braces. Right? This is a variable that you want to have here. This name variable, right? Put comma and say I am what? Another variable, right? Years old, right? And I am from what? Nigeria, another variable. You understand? Put your full stop and then dot format. So what are you going to put here now? You're going to put name, age, and what? Country. So you can see how straightforward is that. So let me just use the screen. So that is using format methods. So I'm using f strings now. So let's use f strings. So I'll come and say, okay, I didn't close this thing here. So I'll come and say print. My name is this what I'm supposed to do using f string? Like, am I correct? Abi, I should go back to correct something. Like, are we good to go using f strings? Okay, exactly. So we are supposed to add f at the beginning. Put f here, right? So come and put the curly braces and you put the name of the variable. My name is this. The variable is name, and you say I am what? Age, and say years old, and I am from, and you put country. Let me spell country well. You put country and you close your quote, close your bracket. So that is for f strings. So let me use the last method here, which is the percent method. This is the old method, percent method. So I'll come here and say print using percent method, right? Come and say print my name is put my percentage, right? I am put my percentage again, years old, and I am from from put my percentage again. You understand? Put my, and then come here, put percent, and then put the variables name, age, and what country. But we are not done yet in this particular formatting. So what am I supposed to do in this percent method to complete the formatting? So in this first variable here, I'll put s, right? Because name is what? A string variable. This second method here, I'm going to put what? D, because it's a what? An integer. And then the last one is what? S, because what? It is what? A string variable. So let me quickly just do something extra. So print method. Yeah. Right. So we've done that. Let me still. So if we run this now, we're going to get this basically, right? All right. Let me make the output very fine. So as I'm doing all these things, be learning, though. Like there are a lot of things I'm doing now that I'm just trying to make the code easy to read, right? So I can come here and say print just do this, right? Come here, put it here, come here, put it here. Okay, so this is just to ensure that. Okay, so you can see the different so you can see the different methods now. The first one is, my name is Kingsley. You can see that we've already changed the name, right? I am this one, I'm from Nigeria. So using the format method, it gave us the same thing. Using f string, it gave us the same output. Using percent, it gave us the same output. So you can see how this string formatting helps us to make our strings look presentable, our output look presentable. So let's say I just come here and change the age to, let's say, 25, and change Ebuka to let's say Idris, right? Or something. And let me just change the country to, let's say, Ghana, right? And run it. You see that everything here has changed. Like the output here has changed. My name is Idris. I am 25 years old and I am from Ghana. My name is Idris. I am 25. So this is what string formatting does basically. So you just need to know how to use it. It is going to be extremely helpful, extremely helpful as you move on in this particular program and as you do data science and work in Python. So that is it for string formatting, right? So we are quickly going to look at let's see if we still have time. Okay. Okay. So we're going to look at just few different operations in Python, and then we'll call it a day. So have enough time to ask questions. So now we have different types of operations in Python. Remember, initially we talked about arithmetic operations. We talked about arithmetic. Okay, the person said that someone just said the first result didn't change from Kingsley. Exactly. That is what I'm trying to show us, right? This first one, can someone tell her why this first one didn't change? Like why it didn't change? Like I just need someone to answer that question for her before I say anything. I just need more answers. Is anybody saying anything based on what we've discussed so far? Exactly. Exactly. It was not formatted. Like, okay, let me just explain. The reason why this first one didn't change is simply because we didn't use string formatting, so it is not dynamic. We've already specified the string, like it is static. It is not dynamic, right? So we use string formatting. Exactly. There is no specified string format. Exactly. So it wasn't formatted, right? So I was just trying to show us the essence or the importance of using string format in Python. So that's just it. It's the first one, you just entered it there. No, we didn't add anything to format the string at all. So this is your normal string that you normally print, right? It is just a string. Exactly, yeah. So yeah, let's just move on. Let's move on. So we're talking about the types of operations in Python. So if you've gone through this particular notebook, I sent it already on the Google Classroom, so you should already know or see this concept that we'll be discussing. So you've looked at arithmetic operation, where we just finished looking at them: the subtraction, division, modulus, exponentiation, floor division, increment operation, and decrement operation. We have comparison operation. We have logical operation. We have assignment operation. We have membership operation. We have identity operation. So these are the different kinds of operations we have in Python. And it is the building block of most of the things we will be doing. So when we start doing while loop, for loop, functions, conditional statements, we'll most likely use one of these operations. Understand? So arithmetic operation obviously is the mathematical operation that we all know. Comparison operation for comparing. Logical operation for just doing logical stuff like your and, or, and not, which you already know. Assignment operation is actually what we've been using since, but you might not know. Is this equal to sign? Is used to assign a value to a variable, and also the other ones that we did. This increment operation is a form of assignment operation. We have membership operation. We have identity operation. So we are going to stop here for today, right? In tomorrow's class, we're going to start from the types of operations. We're going to look at them, just practice or look at how we can implement them, how can implement and use them in Python, and just see how exactly they are used, right? So you are going to enjoy it, and trust me, it's going to be very, very useful as we are going forward, as we move forward in this particular program. So I urge you to try as much as you can to understand every bit, everything we are going to be explaining. Try to understand them. If you don't understand them as we are in class now, that is actually very fine. You can always go back to the recording and look through it. That particular portion that you didn't understand, you can just watch it over and over again. If you still don't understand it, you can now outsource, go to YouTube, look for that particular concept, browse it. There are a lot of tutorials there that actually use illustrations to explain these things, right? So because of the time limit, we might not be able to be exhaustive. Like we might not be able to spend so much time on a particular concept. But I just believe that with the time we have, we've been able to dissect these things, right? So that's it for today. We'll be stopping here. We've looked at some just few things. Basically, we didn't really do much today. So I just want us to take them bit by bit. You understand? So we will not be overwhelmed with information. So today we've looked at quite some things, right? So just go back, revise them, practice, and yeah, we are going to meet tomorrow again by 5 p.m. All right. So the assignment obviously is after the Sunday class, which I've said. So don't expect any assignments today. But your grades, you might get your grades this night. Some of us have gotten our grades already, right? You've seen your grades. Some of us still haven't seen it, so you might get your grade this night or tomorrow. So that shouldn't be a problem. So just take correction where you need to take correction. And so yeah, that's actually it. And try to make reference to the textbook I showed us the other time, that Python textbook. And there are two that I uploaded on the Google Classroom. Try to go read that textbook to help you. Trust me, right? It will help. It is going to help with your understanding of what we are doing in class, right? So I think that's it. We are going to be taking questions now. We're going to be taking questions. So if you have any question, please raise your hand. So I think by 5:30, I think we should be done, hopefully. So if you have any question, please just indicate by raising your hand. If you have any question, please indicate. All right, Usman Abdullahi, please unmute yourself and ask your question. Usman Abdullahi, you're on mute.
Yeah. What I want to ask, I'm a bit confused.
All right.
I'm not following. I'm following, but I just want
your mic is breaking. Your voice is breaking, rather. Can't hear you clearly. I don't know. Probably your network is.
So what about now?
Let's see. Go on. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, go on with your question. Let me see if network is stable. Can you hear me, Usman?
I say a little bit clarification on something like this. Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
You said you need clarification on what?
Hello. Yeah, like when you were showing us Jupiter the other day, as at last week, that you show us Jupiter under Anaconda. So I am wondering why it is on Anaconda. I didn't see anything like Python. The user interface there is not showing anything like Python. It's just Anaconda. Besides, you install the Anaconda directly, not that you install Python. Then under Python, you could be able to get your Anaconda before now, like figure out your Jupiter. So I want to know the Anaconda, is it let me say software language, or is it still under Python?
Okay. That's an understandable question. But I just want to ask before I answer your question. Have you been able to work on Jupyter Notebook since we started?
I'm the same person that I complain about them. Is because I don't have them right now. So that is why I'm somehow confused.
Okay. All right. So let me answer the question. So Anaconda is a software application that makes it easy for data scientists to work with Python. Normally, without Anaconda, what you would have done is you would have gone to Python website, you would have downloaded Python, installed it to your system, and use your command line to start installing all these different libraries that we're going to be using. And you also manually install Jupyter Notebook 2 on your command line, and you install all these things separately. So what Anaconda does is that it makes everything into one package. So you don't need to install them separately. It's just easy for beginners, right? If you're a beginner, you might find it very confusing going through all these steps that you would have done without Anaconda. Understand? So Anaconda just packages everything. Python is inside Anaconda. Once you download Anaconda, you're downloading Python already. Automatically, Python is inside it. So if you open your Jupyter notebook, you can just use Python directly like that. You don't have to start looking for Python or downloading Python again. So Jupyter notebook is there already. The libraries we are going to be using in the course of this program, they are there, most of them actually, and every other thing. So Anaconda just makes it easy to work with Python. That is just what Anaconda is. It is not a language, it is not a programming language at all. It's just an application that solves that problem for beginners. You understand? So that's just it for your question. I believe I've been able to answer that. All right. So Patience, please ask your question. Unmute yourself and ask your question. Yeah, Patience, your mic. Unmute yourself, please, and ask your question. I can't hear you.
Good evening, sir.
All right. Yeah. Good evening. I can hear you.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah. Good evening.
Yes, my question goes to the previous assignment. I found out that my previous assignment, it was not properly numbered because I opened a new file inside Jupyter Notebook to do the assignment. Thereby, the questions were not inside my answer. So I don't know how to go about that one.
Oh, okay. Just have to take corrections in the subsequent assignment because I believe it's
Okay.
graded already. Yes. So this is just you would basically just use this week one to learn and make corrections in the subsequent assignment. All right. So I believe that's fine. Adebayo Rewan, please ask your question. Adebayo, unmute yourself, please, and ask your question. Okay. All right. So let me call upon that person. Are you there? Can you hear me? If you can hear me, please, you can ask your question. There's no time. All right. Are they doing Timitope? Please ask your question. Are they doing? You're on mute now. Just unmute yourself and ask your question.
All right. I can hear you. Yes, sir. My own question is about the week one assignment. I discovered that I understand the assignment very well, but I discovered that when I was running my codes, it will tell me that the same code I ran and it worked for the first one. When I try it again, to tell me that something is not callable, then it will not run. So I just had to do the assignment that way. Why some ran, some didn't run, so I just submitted it like that. So, sir, I would just suggest that the code part of the assignment, I would suggest we just quickly do maybe 10 to 15 minutes and rush through the correction part, sir, so that some of us can see. Like the other question the other lady asked about answering the question with the answers inside the question. I didn't find that very difficult, but the only issue I had was that my code is I was told to convert float to string. I did it, the first one correct. When I wanted to convert maybe string to another thing, then it will tell me that something has been used somewhere. It's not callable, something like that. And I know what I wrote is actually correct, very correct. So I don't know how to go about that, sir. So I'm just suggesting that maybe tomorrow we can just take like 10 to 15 minutes to run through the code part of the week one assignment, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So the thing is that I get your question. I'm just going to quickly show you something. Let me share my screen. I hope it's actually the issue you are facing. But yeah, so let me open this quickly. Okay, let's assume this is your assignment, right? And you come here and let's say you initialize the variable 34, and you come here and you have another variable a is equals to 65.3. I want to convert this float to integer, and you now come here and say int, and you say a. You're going to get this error. Why? Let me unmute you because I need to know if this is exactly the problem you're facing. Can you raise your hand so I can unmute? All right. So is this the error you are facing? Is this
Yes, sir.
the?
That's it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's it, sir.
Can you try to just from this thing pinpoint what the problem is, what you think the problem is before I correct it? What you think the problem is? If you don't
Okay.
have any idea, don't worry. Let me just answer.
All right. I don't have an idea, sir.
Okay, so the problem here is that you are initializing a variable that has the same name as the function you want to use. Can you see it? This int
Yes, sir.
variable that I initialize here is the same int function that you want to use in conversion. So what Python does is that before Python would interpret this code, you first look at your notebook to see if this function is the name of anything in your notebook, right? So most times we define function and everything. So it will first check if it's a variable. It will try to use this variable on this particular operation that you want to do, and it will give you this error because int here is not callable because it's not a function. It is a variable here. So to avoid this mistake, you have to ensure that your variable names are not the same thing with function names. So what you can do here is just to put underscore here, right? If you put underscore here and you run it and you come here and run this one, let me clear this. Complete int, right? So this is what you're going to do. It's going to run because this int now is the real function, the original int function used for converting and not the variable, right? So just pay attention to how you name your variables. Don't name variables that has the same name with functions that you want to use. So you can just name this. If you want to use the int name, just make sure you put underscore. If you want to use floats, you can put underscore. So just to make sure that it's not the same thing. You understand? So I
Okay,
hope
sir.
that is clear.
Yes, sir. Very clear, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right. So let's see. Okay, you can put your hands down. Joshua, I am Joshua. You can ask your question. Joshua, please mute yourself and ask your question.
Good evening, Mr. Emmanuel.
Yeah, good evening, Mr. Joshua.
Yeah, thank you again for another wonderful session. I just want to ask, once you download Anaconda, I just want to be sure, when you want to do anything on the notebook, do you still need network, or even without network, it can run? Like, do you need it connected to?
No, you don't need it connected to the internet to run. It works regardless of the internet connection.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
All right. All right, Okoli Precious Oluchuku. Please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Okay, sir, I want to ask a question regarding last week. I've been trying to install my Anaconda, and I can install I can download and install, but it doesn't launch. So I've been complaining. I think I wrote to saying the same thing. So the person I even took it to another guy to help me with. He said I should ask for the link. Probably I'm not using the right thing to download. That's why. So please, is there any way
But
you
you
can give
said,
me the link?
you've downloaded it already.
I've downloaded it. I've installed it, but it does not launch. So if I click on
Okay.
that sign, instead of it to open in my, it's supposed to open in my digital notebook, right?
No, no, no. What if you click Anaconda, it opens Anaconda. It's inside Anaconda that you can now open Jupyter Notebook. You understand?
Okay. I mean, if I go to Google Classroom and click on the week 1, session 2 assignment, it's supposed to open inside Jupyter Notebook,
No.
inside Anaconda.
No, no, no. You are supposed to download the file first to your
I download.
system. You download the files on Google Classroom to your system and then open Jupyter Notebook. And inside Jupyter Notebook, you will now open the file that you've downloaded.
Oh,
Like
okay. I'll
you
try.
don't open it directly from Google Classroom. No, it won't work. What you are going to be opening is Google Colab. That one is a different thing. You download the assignment file to your computer. Make sure you know where you downloaded it to. So once you've downloaded it, you now open Jupyter Notebook on your system. You understand? Remember, I told you to create a file, a youth strive folder that will have all the files that is going to be pertaining to this program. So you have that organization. So once you download the file, launch Jupyter Notebook. I've told you how to launch it. You can either open Anaconda and launch it, or just go search for Jupyter Notebook in your computer. In the apps, it will show you, launch it. And in Jupyter Notebook, you can now search for the folder and search for the file and open the file, and then you will now get the file. You can now do whatever it is you want to do in Jupyter Notebook and save it, and then go to Google Classroom, upload that file that you've worked on, the assignment you've answered, upload it to Google Classroom, and then turn in your assignment. That is just the simple process. You understand? So yeah. Okay. Let's quickly take please, if you've asked questions, just drop your hand. All right. Aderemi, Aderemi, please ask your question. Um,
Good evening, sir, Mr. Ima.
yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the wonderful lecture. I really appreciate your effort. Sir, my own challenges is I'm the one that sent you message on the Telegram about the system issue. Please, I'm using to do this program now is Galaxy Tab A8. So I download the Anaconda, but the thing, the Anaconda was telling me when I want to open it that I didn't have an app that can open the Anaconda on the Samsung Galaxy. So I want to ask if there is any app I can download that will be opening the Anaconda for me on the Samsung Galaxy, pending the time that I will get a new system, because I take the system to the engineer, and the engineer was telling me one grammatical language like that I don't understand about the system. So that's my question.
That's I don't know, because the tab is probably running on Android, so you would have to just check out PyDroid, Pydroid. So it is an app you can download, but it is not as efficient as using Anaconda, because I always advise you to use your laptop for this program. Like use your laptop because you definitely not get the most out of it. I understand that sometimes you might have challenges that is beyond you, right? I understand. So
Yes, sir.
you can download PyDroid. I'm going to try to drop the link on the group chats and before Monday, right? So we can you can use that for the meantime. All right. So that
Okay,
is
sir.
it for that.
Okay, sir.
All right. I'm just going to take a few more questions and we're going to call it a day. All right. Kende, please ask your question. Kende, ask your question ASAP. So we'll move forward. Unmute yourself, please. Kende, Popola, you can unmute yourself and ask your question. I've unmuted you already. Okay, so let's see. Oka for confidence. Oka for confidence. Please ask your question. Unmute yourself
Hi,
and
good
speak.
evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
So my question is about the Anaconda app because I downloaded the app, but trying to launch the Jupyter notebook, they are saying error in something. That the file has been deleted or formatted. But I tried opening Spider under the same Anaconda. Those ones opened, but that particular Jupyter notebook, it didn't open. I tried severally. I've uninstalled the app, tried to install it again, and still having the same issues. So I don't know what to
Have
do.
you have you tried opening it directly from your Windows app?
I've tried it. It's still having the same issue.
All right. Can you just screenshot the error it's showing you and send it to me?
I can't do that now because I'm not with my system currently.
Yeah, whenever you
Maybe
can.
I should send it to you on Telegram or via email.
On Telegram.
All right, sir.
Okay. Okay. My is Ibrahim Issa. Ibrahim, please unmute yourself and ask your question. Please, if I unmute you, you don't have time. Just unmute yourself and ask your question so others can ask too. Okay. Utibe Utibe Edem. Sorry if I mispronounced that. You can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Okay, thank you very much. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
Okay, my question is please on the last class um for the this doc string and the hash where you have to use the hashtag to not to allow your statements to run. I tried doing the doc string, but I couldn't. So I don't know if you could just get it just few minutes to remind me how to get the doc string done, like doc string or something like that. Comment and doc string, yes, that's what I mean.
Um, because of time, I might not be able to do that. But have you gone through the video of the last class on that particular thought concept to just see how we did it then?
Okay, no problem. I'll just go through the video again because I was trying to do something on that with the assignment, but I couldn't. So,
Yeah, so just go through the video, you'll see it explained there. All right, so we're going to stop here for today. And sorry we can't take everyone. I believe we all are very busy and we might want to just rest and do other things, right? So those that still have questions, please just ask them in the Q&A group. I will definitely attend to them. So yeah, thank you very much, everyone, for your time and for your patience. We are going to be calling it a day at this point. So enjoy the rest of your day and also enjoy your weekend. See you tomorrow. And also, as we always do, write in the group chat, write at least something that you learned, at least one thing that you learned from today's class. So I don't need to always remind you this because I might forget, but at the end of every class, just write out what you picked, a point, a salient point you picked from the class, right? So it will help you also to just bring back those things to memory, right? And know what exactly you learned from the class. So just let's interact after this class in the group. Yeah, thank you once again.